All right, let's do a little surprise, no surprise from week 1 of the NFL. Still have the Vikings-Bears game tonight, Monday Night Football, but let's just get into it. All right, the Chargers. I'm going to go with not surprised, beating the Kansas City Chiefs. I did think the Chiefs would probably just overcome them as they always do, but this is only the Chargers' second time beating Mahomes since Herbert's been drafted. That's like a 2-9 record or something of that nature. I think the impact Jim Harbaugh will have on this team will help them be a potential playoff team. Herbert looked great, so I'm very high on the Chargers right now. Not surprised. The Bengals. Not surprised. Not surprised because I thought this preseason for the Bengals was pretty interesting, that they played all the starters and that they would come in ready. That being said, the offense did not look ready to go. This was their first win in week 1 since 2021. Coming into this game, they are 1-9 in the first 2 weeks of the season with Burrow at QB. That's just unacceptable. But that being said, what I am surprised about is the Bengals defense was the reason they won. Last year's defense was terrible, so I'm very happy to see that there were some bright spots here, even if it was just because of missed field goals that we were able to escape. The Colts and Daniel Jones, not surprised. So I told a lot of people that Daniel Jones was going to have a Sam Darnold-like season this season for the Colts. Daniel Jones became the first quarterback in the Super Bowl era to lead his team to a scoring position on every offensive drive of the game. The Colts have an underrated roster. I'm not saying that Daniel Jones is going for MVP, but I'm not surprised by yesterday's game. Green Bay Packers, another not surprise. I picked the Packers to win the division this year. I still think the Lions will make the playoffs anyway, but either way, this was prior to Parsons, but adding him in, they looked amazing. Parsons looked great. He looked very active. Jordan Love and the rest of this roster is good enough to make any kind of run, even a Super Bowl run, so I'm not surprised by this. I will like to see what the Lions do going forward, but either way, not surprised for this game. Steelers. I'm going to go surprised, and not because they won. They were one of my 2 locks to win coming into this week, the Colts being the other, but because of how they won. Credit to Aaron Rodgers, 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions. I'm not saying he was out there slinging it, but he did enough to get the job done and look good doing so. The main surprise for me comes from the defense. The Steelers defense has been carrying them for the last 3, 4, 5 years, so it was a little surprising to see how bad they looked against Justin Fields. I expected more from them. Not surprised that they won, but surprised on how they did it. Last but not least, the Ravens and how they looked. Not surprised. Lamar Jackson, great quarterback, great regular season quarterback, and didn't even play a bad game. He looked very good here. However, I've always said that Josh Allen is the better QB of the 2. We talked about Jim Harbaugh earlier, his brother John Harbaugh on the other side of the fence right now. Great coach, but he has 17 blown double-digit leads. That's the most of any coach since 1991. I know Derrick Henry fumbled, but he still had a great game. Lamar played fine as well. I just think Allen elevates his team a little more than Lamar does at the moment, and it showed here. Not surprised by the result, but the Ravens will be just fine.